I want to spend time on this video to do a lot of corrections and updates, but I just want to begin. I think a fatal fallacy that's really driving a lot of this back and forth among the Scientologists, anti Scientologists, and ex Scientologists is wanting to have a hero. Now, that's not to say there are no heroes. I think there really are in the anti Scientology movement, but I think the dilemma is people inflating the number of heroes. And that brings us to DOA. And I am happy, or I guess sad, depending on your perspective, to announce yes, it's real. He will be speaking to, yes, he will be speaking to her. That was not a clickbait. That was not phony. From the source itself, yes, barring some catastrophe, they will speak to one another. So I know a lot of people are like, really? Because DOA has promised certain conversations and they don't happen. But apparently, if things go well, they will speak. And that brings us to the dilemma that DOA does have a very long history of abuse, including abusing women. So, should we tune in? Should we listen? Now, I myself just go mainly with the information. If the information is good, don't really care if the person himself is good or bad. However, there is something to be said about credibility. So, we know what DOA is doing. He's pushing the hero narrative that before he was fighting the Scientology and its evil, because, he loves women and children. I don't believe that. I didn't believe that back then. And I'm sure he's pushing the hero narrative now that he's also fighting the Aaron Smith-Levin cult because, he loves women and children. Still don't believe it. But what do we say about Aaron himself and his allies? Well, again, of course, they're going to push back with their own hero narrative that really, despite all the evidence, Aaron really, really was trying to save us. Really, really, truly. Well, let's look at some of his hero allies and their heroism. I've covered Nora recently and fairly extensively, so I'm going to keep it short with her. But the basic spiel is that her background is her parents were part of the Guardian's office, which, for those who don't know, was basically the spy wing of Scientology, and the Guardian's office was transformed into OSA, the Office of Special Affairs, which basically is a spy/PR agency that Scientology uses to silence critics and sometimes do some pretty lethal, gruesome stuff. Now, to be fair, as far as I know, Serge is not extensively involved in OSA. However, he's not much better, and we know this because he was forced to admit it. So, in one of their propaganda sessions, Serge had to admit that he took a lot of money. And we're talking a lot of money from a very rich Scientologist. And how he did it is pretty shocking.
Let's just dispel it all for everybody. I made $1.1 million because Bob Duggan paid me $35,000 to audit his kids, of which I didn't audit. I hired Tyler Bosserman to audit kids and put him on the own time process. You would know what the own time process is. It's the only, probably the only process you should ever do with a child. You just go, this is the session. Let's do whatever in the hell you want. Yeah. So it was glorified like child babysitting. Okay. He did pay.
So yeah, Serge is admitting fully and frontally, he took money from a very rich Scientologist, Bob Dugan. And this guy's a billionaire. Billionaire with a capital B. So this is not a small amount of money. This is a lot of money from an extremely rich Scientologist, one of the richest Scientologists in the entire planet. And yes, he was auditing the children. But it's okay, guys, because I wasn't even doing the auditing. I outsourced it. See, I was running a business. That guy did all the auditing. I collected the money, but that's how it works. Like, wait, what? Wait a minute, I thought kids can't consent. I thought under no circumstances could kids consent. And he's literally admitting these are very, very young children. But it's okay, I did the safe auditing. I did the audit thing where it's not so bad, I did this and that. Well, let's take that for granted that, that's okay. Well, that doesn't make any sense because the children and not the children not those. But Serge, you just said there is a part of Scientology that is totally safe for children. So who cares if they're in the hotels? You just said, no, that's part of auditing. It's okay. So why are you screaming about the hotels? Oh, because there's worse kinds of auditings. Oh, really? So he did the safe kind of auditing. It's just a miracle, guys. He did the safe kind of auditing. But if you hear further, it's not as nice as it seems.
$500 an hour. This is a billionaire that paid me $500 an hour for me to set that up. Well, wouldn't you know that 8 months later, I got fired from that job because I was blamed for not doing other more
Because
CCH.
you
Why
weren't
aren't they not
you
going
weren't
up the
sec checking the
objectives?
kids and all this other shit. Yeah.
Why are they doing the CCH? Okay, well, that's Mitch Brisker's little dead agent pack information that I shared with him.
So, wait a minute. So you were brainwashing the kids, which Nora was doing too, by the way. That was her job in Scientology, is brainwash the kids, especially the celebrity children. So how are these people victims slash heroes? Well, because they hate Mike Rinder. See, Mike Rinder is the local devil now. And if you hate him, you're good and become a hero man. According to who? According to Aaron. So Aaron will have on Serge to explain away his crimes. Then Nora will have on Serge to explain away his crimes. And wow, full circle, Aaron will have on Nora and she'll explain away her crimes. Almost like it's a bit of a pyramid scheme. But to be fair, Nora did not make that much money from Scientology. Clearly, Serge has. He did so well in Scientology, he was hanging out with the Masterson family in Hollywood and Los Angeles. And this is not just him, and it's not just Nora. This is very pervasive. Laura FM, who is DOA's girlfriend, had to admit it, saying, yeah, I hung out with Danny Masterson. We literally went to the La Pobe. You know that place that DOA is protesting? She went there. She went there a lot. She went to a lot of clubs with Danny Masterson. So you got to be like, hold up. Wait. I am not understanding this. You guys are hanging out with really rich Scientologists, with Hollywood celebrities, some of them guilty of grape activity, but that's okay. Somehow you're still heroes. How? Why? When? Don't know. And Aaron is no different. In fact, to give him a lot of credit, because he can't run away from it, you know what he did after he, quote, left Scientology in terms of the Sea Org? He worked for, wait for it, it's a very Serge thing, a rich Scientologist. He worked for an investment firm that was run by a rich Scientologist and said, yeah, guy, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, I was making the good monies. Okay. So is that what happened? Serge and Aaron or Batman, they hoarded the wealth and now they created a massive bat cave to save the victims of Mike Rinder? Is that what they're doing? They're putting on Batman outfits. They have a whole army of the Batmen. They're inspiring the children to become bat people. Is that what's happening? No. They sold out. They were extremely corrupt, but then they noticed the tide was turning, saying, oh, yeah, Scientology, that's the thing to do. 1990s, 2000s, oh, baby. Money, celebrities, many connections I will have in the Scientology. So they're making it seem as if they were brainwashed, but I think the more likely answer is no, they just saw the money and the power and like, hey, I want to get in on that. And that's why they joined Scientology, for the money and power, and they got it. Nora didn't get that much, but she's not very intelligent. But now, beyond a certain point, they're saying, hey, maybe I could make more money becoming an anti-Scientologist. So there we go. We're going to cash out both ends. They sold themselves to the devil for Scientology. Now they're going to try to sell themselves off to another devil. And there we go. We just keep the hustle going. And there we are. So I am nervous about the DOA conversation. I'm not going to lie. But again, we can have a conversation with the devil. We should just know what we're doing. The dilemma here is that Aaron, Nora, Serge, and all these other people keep putting themselves out as angels and heroes. They're no such thing. And I'm sure DOA is going to try to gaslight people saying, oh, yeah, that time I was screaming at the women. Oh, I was trying to be a hero. I'm sorry, I was just being very heroic. I let the Batman, the Batman inside me, it just took over. But I'm getting better now. Well, I agree. Listen, Aaron has been on a roll just lying and manipulating people and trying to really rewrite history radically, where magically his former allies, Mike Rinder, He's the most evil person in the universe. And now DOA, another former ally, he's even a worser. He's even he might be the worst person in the universe. Number 2. Okay, maybe not. But why are we doing this? Because we got to have a new narrative. The new narrative is before Aaron was brainwashed. Not in Scientology, but Mike Renderology. Oh, God, it was terrible. In Scientology, they brainwashed me. Yeah. And then I escaped. But then Mike Rinder brainwashed me. Oh, my goodness. And then DOA. I was just poor little Aaron. I was a poor, innocent little girl. And DOA, he just took me. He brainwashed me, too. It's all terribles. Yeah. There we are. So Mike Rinder brainwashed Aaron, and I guess DOA brainwashed Serge? What's next? Who's brainwashing Nora? I don't know. Tony the Tiger. I don't really know. Anyway, so the conversation will happen. Hopefully we'll learn something. But let's be on our guard, because DOA, I'm sure, is going to be rewriting history. That's just a tendency. But again, I should emphasize, there are heroes in the anti-Scientology movement. Not many, but they do exist. And we should recognize them. What we shouldn't do is needlessly inflate the number, because it is what it is. This movement will always just have very few heroes. And I'm not saying I'm a hero, but they are there, and they should be honored and respected. But the people who are putting themselves off as false heroes, they deserve no respect, and we should be very, very cautious and suspicious of what they're up to. And definitely when they're lying radically about their complicity in Scientology and after Scientology, we should be very, very cautious about believing them, in my humble opinion.